Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 8th, 2021 at approximately 6:31 a.m. PST. Well, things have been going interestingly. We have got it organized on this end. Now, we're going to start this in a different fashion. Well, no, not really a different fashion. By the way, in case you hadn't noticed, this is a live recording, meaning when I get done, I go back and double check the date to make sure I got the date right. And then I post it as is. All the hiccups, all the pauses, all the stumbles, whatever. If you ever run into me, that's what I mean by it's live. If you ever do actually run into me in person, you'll find I talk the same way, that I do the same things. Okay. There's a lot of things I'm not, but the one thing I do tend to focus on is making certain that what I tell you, if it's a tool that I'm offering you in order to get your life in order, if it applies to my life, I'm using it. So I got up this morning, and the first thing I found was I had put in a virus scanner on my computer on a few months ago. And I'll tell you, I removed it this morning. I've still got the normal one on the computer, but the one I put on jammed my computer 4 times in the last 2 weeks, where I had to do a hard crash. So, am I about to use it again? No, not at all. But what I have gone and done, as you noticed in the last couple of days, I've been talking about how my writing project, the Yldrbac Chronicles, came about. Okay, and I am going to continue down that road, but today I just wanted to get back and make certain that we had things moving. Now, there are things. I'm looking at the video behind me, at what you're seeing back there, and there's things I'm noticing that I've got to get straightened out. And what is that? Oh, okay, that's a roll that has to stay up there. It's that up on the top shelf there, right beside the lighthouse. There is a banner that I made years ago. Well, actually, that was made for me. Right. That is literally, it's a banner with an actual poem written on it. So that I am leaving. That's just sitting up there. I haven't figured out where to hang it or or whether to hang it. I may eventually do so. Haven't quite figured out where, and I think no, can't go there because there's no place to hang it, but we'll figure it out. In any event, it is a tapestry, and I'm going to figure out what to do with it. But you can see on that shelf, on the shelf up over here, there's stuff up there that's got to be moved about, that I've got to figure out, because that a lot of that is loose paper that I'm frankly never going to get to. And I know this for a certainty. Most of it is blank paper designed for printers. Well, I don't even have an active printer, and every time I've tried to get one, I've run into problems, so I've just essentially given up on it for the moment. Okay, but again, starting with, in order to get your life running in the right order, in the right direction for you. Now, this is not the right direction for me, but the tools I offer are the ones I'm using. And the first thing you do is take a look at your own health. Are you finding yourself lethargic? Are you finding yourself, fighting depression a lot? Does it feel like your life is just running into obstacle after obstacle? If it is, this is the time to really start taking a serious look at yourself. Now, a lot of the time, now I'm not a nutritionist, so talk to your doctor, talk to your nutritionist. Not so much, in my opinion, about the medication you should be on, but the type of food that will help you. I've been doing a lot of looking into what the actual foods are that the medications are built off of. The way I figure it, Mother Nature did a better job than mankind ever did. The difference is mankind developed things for an immediate reaction. Well, picture what happens if you're trying to make a rapid change. Picture what happens if you force feed it. For instance, you desire water to go to a certain location. Now, you can take that entire stream of water and try and force it through a small hole, which will in all likelihood rupture the pipe. Or you can slow the water down a little and let it go through nicely. The Grand Canyon was not, it was built with water, but it was not built overnight. Mankind does not seem to have a whole lot of patience, and in all fairness, very few corporeal life forms at this point do. Okay. Now, being a professional procrastinator myself, okay, as in, if you take a look at the axiom, never do today what you can do tomorrow. I had it down to an even finer point. I would never do what you can put off. Okay, well, that hasn't worked very well. So when I got up this morning and found my computer jammed, the first thing I did was remove the virus scanner that I know was causing the problem, because it's the only thing that I've added that could have been causing the problem. Okay, everything else was working fine. But you take a look at your body and ask yourself, are you feeling right? Are you feeling energetic, or are you constantly finding that you're tired? Now, from what I gather, and I'm looking into this myself, and if anybody has any input into it, absolutely leave me a note in the comments below. But I'm looking at a way non non-additive, non-medical, well, using diet only, not supplements, to actually get my liver to work properly. Because it turns out from the research I've done, if you're holding belly fat, or if you're feeling tired, and I've found this from multiple sources. If you're feeling tired, if your skin's itchy, these are all indications, apparently, of, and understand, in my case, it's not what's causing it that is the issue, or whether or not the doctor told me or I found it on the net. These are things that I've been suffering from anyway, and the net is just corroborating them. Now, since I'm not really impressed with medical approach anyway, what I'm looking for is different foods that can help clear the liver up and make it work a little healthier, because apparently an overworked liver will cause all of these things. And like I said, I found this reference on multiple sources. So I am doing the research to figure that out. Because frankly, I'm tired of the way I'm feeling. Matter of fact, I'm tired of feeling tired a lot of the time. But you take a look at how your body is working. Now, I absolutely found out one little detail, and this worked for me. And like I said, I am not a doctor. But what worked for me, my blood pressure was really, really high. And I was told by an individual who also was not a doctor to give something a try. And what it was literally getting for breakfast every 2 or 3 days a bowl of oatmeal with quinoa and flax and a few other things. If you're interested in exactly what the other things are, drop me a line. I will let you know the specifics. But I was told, get oatmeal, okay, and throw a handful of blueberries into the oatmeal. Not sugar, just the blueberries. Okay, so you got milk, the oatmeal, and blueberries. I did that. I started doing that every day, and I do that every 2 or 3 days. My blood pressure dropped 30 points in 10 days. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but at least I'm not using medication every day of the week. Okay, and I found out that a lot of the medication, at least from reports, and I don't put a whole lot of weight in that. I put the weight in, I don't like the medication in the first place. So the medication they had me on was barely holding things together, in my opinion. But it turns out what I found out by talking to the pharmacist was that the damage that the medication I was on could do long term was pretty extreme, which just corroborated what I intended on doing anyway. So you get your health, get yourself feeling better, physically, and that boils down to eating properly. Now, the one thing I will say for where it comes to diet is if you're looking for a diet that works, these fast diets are just plain a pain in the neck, and in my opinion, they're dangerous. Okay, but if you talk to a nutritionist that is specialized in diabetic nutrition, they seem to have the best grip on balanced meals. Okay, so I'm not going to give you nutrition advice. I'm not a nutritionist. I mean, I barely keep proper food in my house, or at least in the past have. So I'm not about to tell you just what works and what doesn't. But I will tell you that talk to somebody that is educated in that fashion. Now, this is nothing personally against the doctors. I've met some doctors that are great people. I just don't trust modern medicine. Okay, so you start with your physical body. Okay, once you've got it running, and where it comes to that neat little thing about fighting depression, the one thing that I found that works really well for me is find the fastest paced dance music, turn it up as loud as socially acceptable, and let it run. That increased vibratory rate of dance music it helps a lot in bringing the energy up in the house. Okay, and that results in bringing your energy up. Okay, if you don't believe me, that's okay. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. If you're feeling a little lethargic, go to whatever device you've got. Find the fastest dance paced music you can find and crank it as high as socially acceptable and see how different you feel. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, give something else a shot. The important thing is bring your energy up so that you can feel a little bit better off. Once you've done that, now you can get started in the material world. And this is where I've gotten to. I hate that word. And I realize it's a real English word. I just don't like it. Okay. But I have achieved the point of knowing where my physical body is and what's bothering me with it. And I'm working on what I can. So now it's a question of take wherever you work on your finances and get the energy there running properly. And that's where Feng Shui comes in really, really handy. And it's funny, I was watching something the other day, and this guy was accrediting his success to a material object. Okay. Where he bought a material object from somebody else and now he's gone on to sell these things. Well, I will tell you this. If I tell you that I've got a whole pile of these, now this little ring here that I've got, okay, it's not much. It's malachite and sterling silver. Now I could put all my faith in this ring, and I could say that's what's going to make the energy around me work better. Okay. Forgot to bring my coffee with me. I could tell you, I take this ring and I put it on my finger, and this ring is going to make me successful. Well, there's a problem with that. If I do that, first of all, if I have a whole pile of these rings and tell you this is what's going to make your life better, buy one, make sure you put it on in a certain fashion, make sure you treat it in this way, and all of a sudden your life is going to get better. Well, I'll tell you what happens. Your life may well get better. And don't get me wrong on that one. It may well. But the reason my life is going to get better from a financial standpoint is because I'm going to sell these things for 30, 50 bucks. And if I do the marketing right, I'm going to have a lot of people ordering this ring. Now, this ring is irreplaceable in all fairness, but it doesn't do a thing for me. This ring I got from my brother after my brother passed away. But there isn't much to it. All it is, like I said, is just sterling silver and malachite. Okay, now there's a lot of things that are attributed to malachite. I attribute the ring to my older brother that passed away. That's all I got left of him. Well, that's not 100% correct, but it is the one thing I've got left to him that is a constant reminder of the effort he put in. So, what I'm saying is if you're putting your faith in a piece of jewelry, Whether it's a ring, whether it's a pendant, whether it's a symbol, it doesn't matter. Whatever you require for a focus that works for you, that's good. But here's what I found. That same focus, if you put it here, okay, you go, and that's where that sign, where'd it go? Right there. That wood sign that I've got there that says, I am worth it. You keep that in mind, and you keep that in your heart, and you'll find the energy that you require to really push yourself, to make yourself into the type of person you desire. You'll draw the luck, you'll draw the connections of success to you that you actually deserve. Something that I have decided I'm going to do in reference to that is this funny little thing, cell phone. Now, there are so many phone calls that I've gotten that are, I hate that word. There are so many phone calls I've received from from scammers, from, just absolute fraud runs. Okay, and I've checked on a number of them as far as phoning the people they were claiming to be, and the people going, yep, absolutely, there's a scam going on. So, I do have a cell phone and I use it for my own purposes, but I did decide that today I'm going to be setting up the actual answering system. And then I'll just keep deleting it, and I may get, because at this point, as was pointed out by my marketing supervisor with Author House, all of a sudden I'm getting emails, from people and potentially phone calls for what could turn into a lucrative setup. And I've gotten very good at ignoring phone calls, and I have no problem hanging up on people if I'm not happy with them, which is probably rude. I'm not the most socially acceptable individual, and the fact that I was shown and am now comfortable reasonably with the idea of ordering my major groceries online. I don't even have to go to the grocery store except for perishables. Okay, but I am going to be setting up my phone today so that I can actually start getting phone calls, from people I don't know, and moving forward with that. Okay, again, it boils down to making sure all options are running properly. Okay, now when you get your desk, make absolutely certain wherever you're working on your finances, get that desk clear so that it's clear at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day you put everything away, so that when you get up in the morning you can start with a fresh slab, so you're completely ready to go. I strongly recommend the same thing where it comes to dishes in the rest of the house. Okay, the more organized you are, the more that the energy in your house is running smoothly, the more relaxed you're going to be, and the easier it's going to be for you to deal with the outside world. Okay, now, I've been a very fortunate individual in a lot of ways. Okay, and the biggest one from my standpoint is that I can honestly look in my world and go, yeah, I fought the issue of being on the edge of poverty my entire life. Okay, and even when I ended up with my estate settlement coming through, I managed to get my life organized to the point that I really did end up ahead of the game. Okay, problem was I didn't correct where the real issue around money was. I don't put a lot of weight in money at all, but I do put a lot of weight in the fact that I don't like feeling stressed. Now, finally, with the editing with the final editing I'm doing on my books, okay, I'm finally ahead of the game, which means now I just have to keep ahead of the game. I finally got the finances working where they're starting to move forward. Okay, and that is for me a rather critical factor. So you get the energy in your office. Make sure you clear everything off, starting today. If you haven't already done this, make one of your first tasks if you're at home. Okay, if you've got an office at home, I strongly encourage you to make one of your first tasks to go in wherever you work on your finances and clear that desk off completely. Leave only what has to be there on it. Everything that you're working on, all the little projects, put them all away wherever they belong. Then get started on the projects. Okay, and yeah, that sounds a little redundant, but I will tell you, you get things cleared up first, the energy will run more smoothly and you'll feel a lot more productive. Okay, now I'm saying you will, and in all fairness, the only thing I can say for certain is that I do. Because, like I said, the tools I offer are tools that I am personally using. Okay, so I spent my morning removing this virus scanner and then letting the computer do what it could, and rest assured, I am not computer literate to speak of. I mean, I barely read where it comes to computers. You know, reading, on the other hand, that's another issue. But start there. Okay. Once you've got that done, this is just a recommendation for those of you that are having trouble getting yourself organized. And that's where this funny little list comes in, and I keep showing you this. And hopefully it's made sense. But for your list, you put 3 things on it. Keep them to 15-minute to half-hour tasks. Okay. That way you can feel like you're getting things done. You can also see that you're getting things done. Okay. Get your house started in that fashion, because as soon as the energy is running properly in your house, you'll find that things become a whole lot more relaxed for you. And net result, more productive. And the more productive you are, the more you feel you're productive, the energy that you're having trouble with. Like, I was watching a video the other day, and it was great. It says, you see all these active people on videos and what have you, and that is an extreme minority. The majority of people, especially in today's world, the majority of people barely have the energy to run through the day. Okay, but I have found the more organized I get, the more energy I get. And they tell me I sleep longer. You sleep longer as you get older. Well, here's why you sleep longer as you get older. You stop doing things. Now, there's sometimes a good reason for not doing a lot of things. Number one, if you're suffering from arthritis, and again, there are ways that people have found the work for that. Okay. But if you suffer from arthritis, getting out of bed in the morning may be a royal pain. Getting up may be a royal pain. But I will tell you, I know from my standpoint, I run into problems where if I don't do a little exercise in the morning, I'm not quite as energetic as I can be for the rest of the day. Okay, if I get a little exercise up and get the energy flowing, then I've got a lot more energy to be able to do the things I desire to do. So that as I get older, I'm not slowing down a whole lot. It's funny, I was moving, and be a couple of years back now. Well, actually, it'd be dang near 20 years ago. But at that time, I was only sleeping 2 hours a night. And I had a teenager then that looked at me and goes, I have no idea how anybody keeps up with you. Because I was sleeping 2 hours a night. I'd put in a 10-hour shift. I'd carry on. I'd do a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'd go back to bed. Well, I'm working to get myself back to that point. But I am finding some hiccups with it. And so it's not a quick process. And, one thing that mankind seems to have lost is the idea of patience. Okay. So, when you've got to stay focused on the things that you're not content with. Because when you identify what you're not content with, you can make modifications to it and eliminate or alter the things you're not happy with. Net result, you're left with the things that you are content with. Okay, and that will make you feel a whole lot better. So, because I keep these down to a minimum, down to the half-hour mark, and I did forget to mention this, I really should do this at the beginning, but if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, and we will carry on forward. But before I take off, do a couple of things to do. Number one, wherever you work on your finances, get that operating desk, get your office desk sorted out, get it cleared off completely except for what has to sit on it. For instance, I have to leave my computer on the desk. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to remove that. But all the excess paperwork and what have you, and the little projects I was working on, as soon as I get off this and get it posted, I'm going to clear that off. Once you've cleared your desk off, if you haven't got your kitchen in order, go and sort your kitchen out. Okay, get the dishes dealt with, get them put away. Then you target the bathroom. Now, and the reason I'm walking you through this is to give you a place to start. Okay, once you've got those 3 rooms sorted out, the next one you target is your bedroom, because I will tell you, get the clutter out of your bedroom and you will sleep better. And this all boils down to the issue of Feng Shui. Get the energy moving in the right direction, your body will work more effectively. Your health will climb, your mood will climb, your energy will climb, and it just continues. And needless to say, as that happens, your finances also turn around. So, I'm going to bring this to a close, and tomorrow I will be back. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.